Now you are going to decide, when you do a reading, if there is a ritual you want to build around that, or if you just want to do it clear. When I do readings for my Wiccan friends, which will be private, I actually cast a circle on the surface that I'm using that is elemental in nature, that invokes my goddesses, that invokes the guardians, and we work from a spiritual place. That's not necessary. That is because I like doing it that way. And I do it that way for my Wiccan friends, and those readings do stay private. You don't have to do it that way. You will decide what you want to build around it. It can be as simple as this. As simple as this. What you see in front of you, minus the stones that are off doing their work for me right now, are the stones I have come to know well and have meanings to me and live in my correspondence charts. I cast those stones. If I were casting it for you, if you were sitting here with me, you would be across the table from me. The stone closest to you would be the amethyst. So it would be you. The other stones go back into the bowl. You may use your hand only. If you have smaller stones and they fit, you may use a bag. Excuse me, a plate. Whatever container works for you. We are starting with the stone that represents the person we are doing the reading for. If I were doing it for you over the internet, whatever stone had landed closest to you would be the stone. So we are assuming today that you are visiting me, and here you sit over here, and amethyst fell closest to you. That becomes your root stone. That is used for two things. It can be a general reading where you center the person who is with you that day to what amethyst means. And what I would say for that is you give them one of the strength from each of the personal, the interpersonal, and the spiritual. It centers them and balances them and brings them into a place where they are connecting to the stone that has meaning to them. You also then need a stone that represents yourself. Now, as you know, Sophia is that for me. But you may have any one of these stones that is a stone that you have particular affinity with. So you have a second one of it that you always would then add. Say if it were the quartz, you may have something as small as this that represents you that you would add to a corner of the table. It confirms your presence at the table literally and spiritually. So it's simply a matter of getting to know each stone well. It takes time. As you can add stones, you add a stone, you study it, and when you feel you have a good list of correspondences for it, you add it to your collection and work with it, add it to there. I actually have 7 stones that I actually have purchased within the last year, have not had the time to settle with and get to know. So I have some stones I will get to spend some time with. Hopefully soon. They are calling my name very loudly, and they will be added to my bowl. So your bowl, it doesn't really work to cast with less than 8 to 10 because you start getting a little bit, it feels monotonous to you. It won't to the person you're reading for, but it will to you. So you probably need to get to a place where you have 8 to 10, and that's a good place to start from, where you can start actually doing readings. So how then do we do readings? Think of the layout of tarot cards. There are many different ways that you can do stone readings. Always, the way I do it, there is a root stone which becomes the person, which you may start your time with them by sharing a little bit of what it means. That helps them center and be there, present with you in the work you're about to do. And then their stone goes back in your collection. So what I am going to do now is I'm going to show you several different layouts of the kind of readings we could do, with you being here with me across the table, and amethyst being your keystone. Okay, so I'm going to do several different casts that you can get an idea of the many different ways you can use the stones to do a divination. Now, I do want to add to this, as I do to all the divinations that I share with people, that I do not believe in predicting the future. I believe that the only thing any form of divination does is provide insight, more than likely to something we already know. There's nothing mysterious about it. It is a key to us thinking, stopping, taking a moment, pausing, and thinking. I do think the stones give us a sense of a direction or a flow, but they do not predict any outcome in life. There's my disclaimer. Just how I feel about this. I use my intuition when I read the stones. You will develop your intuition as you read the stones, but know, even as you read the stones, that it is up to the person who you are reading for to decide what it means for them. You do not own what it means for them. Stones can be read, as tarot can be read, as runes can be read, for yourself. You will need to determine if it works well for you as a personal form of divination and what it might mean to you. I have been able to make it work powerfully for me. The only way you will know how well it works for you is to try it, play with it, write about it. If you don't capture what you think you have picked up, you have no way of knowing in the end, unless your memory is far better than I, what it means. I have found more than runes and more than cards, more than staves, that I can do work for myself with the stones. It's one of the reasons why it appealed to me right from the beginning. I am certainly glad to work on behalf of others, but I'm just selfish enough in my nature. I want to do a lot of work for myself, and I could not do that with the runes or the tarot, except for drawing one rune or drawing one card, and then I felt limited after that.